What's good, niggas? I am sick, so don't mind that I sound like this, but today we're going to be talking about why Maka decimates RWBY. The reason why I'm talking about this is because Death Battle is going to make a Maka versus RWBY video. RWBY fans are some of the biggest copers, so I have to explain Maka's power scaling and why she beats RWBY, so RWBY fans will stop acting up. The first character we'll be talking about is Maka. I won't be talking about the multiverse of Maka scaling because I know nothing about Fire Force, and to be honest, Maka doesn't scale to Asura, which is how she gets multiversal scaling in the first place. Maka is able to go even with characters who are able to destroy mountain cliffs. Mind you, this is Maka not going all out and not transforming. In chapter 81, Krona used her black blood to destroy a city, which can be calced at island level. Later on, Krona is then able to create a more advanced version of her black blood ability, aka her thorns, and Maka just easily parries this. Now you can't say this is because of Spirit Albarn, but Soul Evans is equal to Spirit Albarns as they are both death scythes. Soul Evans has a better soul resonance with Maka as well, so it just further supports the fact that this feat is valid for Maka. Krona also lifts the mouth of the moon, and this can be calculated at large country level because of how the moon works in Soul Eater, it having the same mass as Earth. The feat I find invalid that I want to talk about is Krona engulfing the moon, and obviously Maka was fighting relative to her before. The reason why I don't find this valid is because this attack was specifically made for Asura, and mind you, Krona was amped using this ability, even larger than her amps before. It's even implied that she wouldn't have survived staying on the moon. As y'all already heard by me, I don't scale Maka to Asura because it makes no sense. Asura massively outscales Maka, and I don't see any way you could make any sort of argument for low-end relativity, to be honest. Now let's talk about Maka's speed. If I'm being honest, Krona and Blackstar carry the Soul Eaterverse so far. I mean, like, Krona is the heavy hitter and Blackstar is the speed demon. But anyways, yes, Blackstar caught a beam of light and threw it back at the opponent. Mind you, this is a not trying Blackstar doing this. Blackstar later on was trying harder against the amped Krona. Krona is able to evade Blackstar's attacks and Maka is able to evade Krona's attacks. So there's some sort of chain scaling going on, but it makes sense. Wow, Maka's powerful. She should scale to town level, to large country level, and her speed should be at least faster than light. I wonder where her so-called formidable opponent named Ruby Rose should scale to. So you mean to tell me that she's consistently a city blockbuster? Okay, you know what? Fine. What about her speed? Versus Battle Wiki always has this problem with inverse where they think that, oh, just because this character is in the series, that it probably scales to this character. Well, no, that's not the case. And RWBY damn sure doesn't scale to people like Winter. RWBY literally got blitzed by a slower character in the Ace Ops, and you mean to tell me that she scales to the light speed meta? Versus Battle Wiki always has this problem with inverse. It's actually insane. And for some reason, you see like Bridget being equal to Potemkin, bro. It doesn't make sense. But anyways, at most, I'll give RWBY like massively hypersonic speed, with her strength being city block level. The last thing we have to talk about with RWBY is how people think she scales to Persona and BlazBlue characters. First of all, that's not canon to the main continuity of RWBY, so why would you even use that version of RWBY? Second of all, that game doesn't affect the other crossover game's continuity. Therefore, we cannot make the logical argument that this RWBY scales to like what, Outer Versal, just because you can use some broken combos with her in the video game against you. Since all of these games aren't part of their main continuity, I could easily fuck around and say that, oh well, these characters in this game specifically scale to the first dimension. Maka, I heard you're strong. All I did was use a bit of my soul resonance with Soul Evans. How the fuck did she die that fast?